All right, so buckle up, everyone, because today we're diving headfirst into the world of Tesla stock.
I'm ready. Sounds exciting.
Oh, it is. And we're going to unpack a lot today, looking at everything from recent financial news and analyst reports to the historical ups and downs of this company. We want to equip you, the listener, to decide if Tesla is a buy, sell, or hold for you personally.
You know, I think what makes this so fascinating is Tesla is at this crossroads right now. On one hand, they're leading the charge in innovation, especially with EVs. But then on the other hand, there are some pretty big economic hurdles they need to clear.
And that's what we're going to break down today. Now, one thing that's been hard to ignore is that Tesla stock has been, well, kind of a roller coaster ride lately.
It really has.
Soaring back in January 2025, but since then, woof, talk about a dip.
A pretty dramatic one.
It really makes you think. Imagine if you had invested, say, 10,000 pounds right after President Trump's inauguration.
Yeah.
Today, that same investment would be worth just a little over 5,700 pounds. Ouch.
Definitely not what you want to see.
Right. So the big question is this a warning sign, or is this the golden opportunity for investors to jump in?
The million-dollar question.
Well, let's start by getting into the nitty-gritty of this stock plunge. Since January 21st, 2025, Tesla's stock has plummeted almost 39%. We're talking about a drop from $424 per share down to $262.87 at today's close, March 7th.
That's a hefty chunk of change.
It is. I mean, to put it into perspective, that's about a 4,300-pound loss on a 10,000-pound investment.
Makes you think twice about timing, that's for sure.
You bet. Now, while the stock did see a slight little rebound today, starting at 252.3 and climbing up to that 262.87, this kind of volatility, well, it's kind of Tesla's trademark.
It's true. They've had a history of these dramatic swings.
Have they ever? It's like their stock is allergic to staying still.
You could say that. In fact, since 2010, they've had 10 drops of 30% or more.
10. That's, wow. Okay, that's a lot, even for Tesla.
A lot of investors are used to the ups and downs, but this time feels different, doesn't it?
It does. There's definitely a heightened sense of anxiety surrounding this dip. So what's got everyone so on edge?
Well, I'd say a big part of it is Tesla's earnings, or more accurately, the projections for those earnings. Analysts are predicting their earnings per share for 2025 to be a measly 2.85.
Easily.
Yeah. I mean, that's a massive 66% lower than what they were projecting just 2 years ago.
Oh, wow. That's a big difference.
Huge. And this points to a bigger issue, shrinking profit margins. You see, profit margin is that magical number that tells you how healthy a company is financially. Back in 2022, Tesla had a 16.8% operating margin. Now, that number has dwindled down to a mere 7.2% in 2024.
So what you're saying is, for every car they sell, they're making less profit. But is that a sure sign of trouble? Or is there a bigger picture we need to consider here?
That's the question, isn't it? And to illustrate why investors are a little spooked, let's zoom in on the last quarter of 2024. Get this, Tesla's gross profit from their cars was actually less than what they made back in the third quarter of 2021. Yeah.
And here's the kicker. They sold twice as many vehicles in that last quarter of 2024. So they're selling more, but making less on each car.
Huh. So it's like they're running faster, but not really getting anywhere.
Kind of, yeah.
And on top of that, there's all this buzz about potential insider selling happening at the top. Didn't Elon Musk's brother, Kimball, schedule some stock sales?
He did. Along with a few other bigwigs in the company. We're talking potentially $300 million worth of stock being sold off. Now, could it just be routine portfolio stuff? Sure. But the timing.
Yeah, the timing is a little suspicious, especially with everything else going on.
Exactly. And that's just adding to the uneasiness investors are feeling right now.
Okay, so we've laid out some pretty hefty challenges facing Tesla right now, but I have a feeling there's more to the story. I mean, Tesla's kind of known for defying the odds, right? What's the other side of the coin look like? What are the things that could potentially give Tesla stock a much-needed boost? Oh, there's definitely a lot of optimism out there, too. Plenty of folks who think this dip is just a temporary blip. One great example is Wedbush analyst Daniel Ives.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of him. He's pretty bullish on Tesla, isn't he?
Big time. He actually just added Tesla to Wedbush's best ideas list.
No kidding.
Yeah, and get this, his price target. $550.
Wow, more than double where it is now.
More than double. He's betting big on Tesla's rebound.
So what's making Ives so confident? What's behind that $550 target?
Well, he's banking on a few things. For starters, he thinks the regulatory environment under the Trump administration could be a big win for Tesla, especially when it comes to autonomous vehicles.
Ah, so less red tape could really accelerate Tesla's self-driving game.
Exactly. Fewer hurdles to jump through means they can innovate and deploy faster than competitors who are dealing with stricter regulations.
Makes sense. And let's not forget, Tesla always has some pretty cool stuff brewing in their labs.
They do. There's that much anticipated sub $35,000 EV that's supposed to hit the market before summer 2025.
Yeah, I've been hearing about that one. Should make EVs accessible to a whole new group of buyers, right?
Yeah. A real game changer. And then there's the big June launch of their unsupervised full self-driving tech in Austin.
Okay, so hold on. Let's break that down for a sec. Full self-driving, we've been hearing about it for a while now, but what makes this so, like, revolutionary? Why is everyone so hyped?
Well, think about it. Cars that can truly drive themselves, it changes everything. Fewer accidents, no more traffic jams, maybe even changes how we think about owning a car altogether.
Yeah, it's almost hard to grasp all the potential ramifications.
And get this, Wedbush estimates that this self-driving tech alone could be worth $1 trillion to Tesla.
You're kidding? A trillion with a T.
Yeah, it's mind-blowing when you think about it.
That's a whole lot of zeros. And then we've got Optimus, their humanoid robot project. Is that even real? It sounds like something out of a sci-fi movie.
Right. It's definitely ambitious, but it shows how Tesla's always thinking long-term, pushing the boundaries. And Wedbush believes that this combo, the autonomous driving tech plus Optimus, could actually end up making up about 90% of Tesla's future valuation.
Wow, so they're not just a car company. They're a full-blown tech juggernaut shaping the future. Okay, but let's be real. It can't all be sunshine and rainbows right now. There are definitely analysts out there who are a lot less enthusiastic about Tesla, some who are even, well, kind of bearish.
Yeah.
What's their take on all this?
You're right, it's not all rosy predictions. While you have bulls like Ives calling for a huge comeback, the general mood on Wall Street is more hold.
Just kind of sitting on the fence.
Yeah, a lot of wait and see. Take Ben Callow, analyst over at Baird. He just lowered his price target to $370, and he's concerned about Tesla's first quarter delivery numbers.
So it's like a tug-of-war between the optimists and the pessimists. What about the predictions for the long haul? Do those paint a clearer picture?
Well, the long-term outlooks are a mixed bag, too, ranging from cautiously optimistic to, well, kind of meh. Traders Union, for example, they think Tesla will trade between 284.20 and 322.36 for the year.
Not exactly a huge jump.
Nope. Now, long forecasts, they're a bit more bullish, but even they admit there could be some bumps in the road.
So even the experts don't really agree on where Tesla's headed. Is there any sort of common ground?
Yeah.
Any key factors that most analysts seem to agree on?
Well, one thing that keeps popping up in the forecasts is the importance of Tesla maintaining your edge, staying ahead of the tech curve. But they also need to figure out how to manage this whole mass market production thing effectively. It's a delicate balance.
So they can't just be the cool kids on the block. They have to prove they can scale up production without sacrificing quality or, their profits.
Exactly. And they got to do it all while fending off a growing number of rivals. Tesla's not the only game in town anymore.
Oh, yeah. The EV market is getting crowded. So what does the competition look like these days? Who are the major players Tesla's up against?
Well, you have the traditional car companies, the big dogs. They're finally taking EVs seriously and pouring money into their own electric fleets.
So they're not just dipping their toes in the water anymore. They're diving in head first.
You got it. And then you've got the Chinese EV companies. They're making some serious waves, especially in Europe. A lot of them are offering some pretty sweet EVs at lower prices, which puts pressure on Tesla's whole premium pricing model.
Makes you wonder if Tesla can keep charging a premium if everyone else is offering similar features for less.
Yeah, that's the dilemma. Do they try to hold on to their profit margins, or do they go for market share by lowering prices? It's a tough call, and we can't forget about, brand perception, right? Things like the Tesla takedown protest in New York. That suggests there might be some cracks in Tesla's image.
Yeah, brand image is everything these days. Tesla can't just ignore those kinds of things. They need to be proactive, address concerns head on and make sure they're keeping their customers happy. And then, of course, there's the Elon Musk factor. Oh, yeah. Can't forget about him. He's a genius, but let's be real. He's a bit of a loose cannon, too.
He is. All those other ventures he's involved in, his, let's say, colorful personality, it can be distracting. It makes you wonder if it's affecting Tesla's overall strategy.
Like, is he spread too thin?
Exactly. So when you're thinking about Tesla as an investment, it's not just about their tech and their financials, it's also about their leadership. Can they navigate all these twists and turns?
Because at the end of the day, a company is only as good as the people at the helm. So we've got a lot to digest here. Reasons to be optimistic, reasons to be cautious, a whole bunch of competing opinions, and of course, the ever-present Elon Musk variable.
We've covered a lot of ground.
We have.
Ugh.
But the big question still looms. Is Tesla stock a buy, a sell, or a hold? I guess that's what we're going to try to answer the final part of our Tesla deep dive.
We'll try to put all the pieces together and see if we can solve this investment puzzle.
Stick around. We'll be back with the conclusion in just a bit. All right, welcome back to the final stretch of our Tesla deep dive. I feel like we've been on quite a journey, exploring the peaks and valleys of Tesla, their incredible tech, those financial headwinds they're facing, the hopes of the bulls, the fears of the bears. It's been a lot.
It has a lot to unpack.
It really has. But now we're at the point where we need to answer the big question, the one that everyone wants to know. Should you buy Tesla stock,
Yeah.
sell it, or just hang on to what you have?
The moment of truth.
It is. So after everything we've learned, what are your main takeaways? What are the things that will really help our listeners decide what to do with Tesla?
Well, I think the first thing to remember, and this is key, is that Tesla is, well, it's a high-risk, high-reward kind of stock.
It's not for the faint of heart.
Not at all, and it probably won't be anytime soon either. That volatility we talked about, it's kind of baked into their DNA.
So if you're someone who likes a nice, steady, predictable investment,
Yeah.
Tesla's probably not your cup of tea.
Probably not. But if you're okay with a little risk, if you truly believe in their long-term potential, well, then the payoff could be huge.
Okay, so high risk, high reward. Got it. What else should our listeners keep in mind?
Execution, execution, execution. That's Tesla's biggest challenge. They need to stay ahead of the innovation curve, they need to figure out how to scale up production to meet that ever-growing demand, and they need to play smart in this increasingly competitive EV market.
Sounds like they have their work cut out for them.
They do, and dropping the ball on even one of those things could send their stock price tumbling.
Oh, and one more thing that's important to remember, their valuation is still, even after this recent drop, really high.
So it's come down, but it's not exactly cheap.
Right. Investors are still betting on huge growth down the road. So if Tesla trips up, that stock price could take another big hit.
Okay, so high risk, gotta execute perfectly,
Yeah.
and a valuation that's still pretty lofty. Anything else? Any last nuggets of wisdom? Well, I think it's important to remember that Tesla's story isn't over, not by a long shot. This is a company that's known for pushing boundaries, for defying expectations. Who knows? They might pull another rabbit out of their hat.
Or they might hit a roadblock, right?
Exactly. It's a dynamic situation, lots of moving parts, and even if you decide Tesla's not right for your portfolio, it's a company worth watching. They're a fascinating study in innovation, in shaking things up, and all the challenges of trying to create a sustainable future.
So the decision, buy, sell, or hold, it's all yours, dear listener. No pressure.
Well, if you're convinced Tesla can navigate these obstacles and achieve those ambitious goals they've set, then today's price might seem like a steal in a few years. But if you're more risk-averse or just not sold on their future, then sitting this one out might be the smarter move.
The most important thing is to do your homework, weigh those risks and rewards, and make a decision that aligns with your own investment goals and your comfort level with risk. Don't get caught up in the hype,
Right. Make a calculated decision, not an emotional one. And one more piece of advice that's always worth repeating: don't invest more than you can afford to lose. The market's a wild ride. Even the best companies can hit bumps along the way.
Words of wisdom. Well, that brings our Tesla deep dive to a close. We've explored this company inside and out, the good, the bad, and the uncertain, and hopefully we've given you the tools to decide what's best for your own portfolio.
It's been a great discussion.
It has. And until next time, keep learning, keep exploring, and keep diving deep.